well. We'll take a look back at some of those final circle moments just that we can re-enjoy the absolute chaos. Match number 1, Graceful, we've mentioned it, Legends and LG facing off.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie, seeing Sweet make this mistake, you know, you give them the finger, they take your head. There's not much you can do when player is hitting so, you know, wonderful shots. And after that, honestly, the push after was a little bit scared because Koifel was a little bit ahead of the curve. After them, they're kind of like struggling in one by one, trading a little bit one by one, whereas like if they just triple swung to get her off the rip, maybe they could have closed it out earlier. But you know what? Earlier doesn't always mean better. When you have somebody that can clutch the game as easily as all of these 3 players are capable of, by the way. We can see that it comes down to Koifel playing the Havoc here with the Turbo, which is terrifying in today's meta, and he actually plays this perfectly well. He plays it slow. The only thing I wish that he could have done was maybe scan a little bit earlier, but he does end up using it right about now. Boom, there we go. He knows how to play this. He has a knockdown shield. He says, hey, hold your knock. I'm going to drop on him, and let's clean this up. Empties the mag. Still has 8 bullets in the ammo.
Didn't even need all of them. A huge clutch on behalf of Koifel, who did well for Legends yet again in match number 2, but this time it was all about Elevate.
Yeah, and Elevate's sitting in the dream scenario. You heard of it briefly in the listen, and Zach saying, we need this game, guys. This is a big game. And this is exactly it. This is a dream scenario. What I mean by that is, if you look at the map, Elevate has control of everything. And this is a very classic dilemma here where you're one of the 2 teams that's stuck on top of each other. I mean, they're just going to die. Like, they know that they both have to play for 2nd place, and this is kind of like the freest game for Elevate, but not so much because they did have to do a lot of fighting to get in there. They'd have to take out Disguise, who's been playing really well as well. So they had to, their hard work paid off. They control most of the zone, and they take a really, really nice 3v3 here, just using all their utility, bullying with their armors, and obviously the massive wingman from Zap, with finishing off with the Havoc. Absolutely clean.
The Macer Laser, baby.
That's all Graceful wanted to add at the end of that Elevate highlight. Match number 3, though, Zephyr. We just got to watch it go down. Tell us.
It's quite a highlight, and it's one that doesn't end in a TSM victory, but you can talk about it with, of course, bringing up the presence that was within Verholst here. And even though we do see the switch up towards Kino at the end, I want to give credit to them for being as respectful as they were. Good scans, good pacing, controlling a lot of this zoning, and even though we do see them get wrapped on later on, you have to understand this kind of separation, even though it is slight with you see Tappy there in the backline, that is something that actually saves them in what is going to be this forward assault here. You'll see in a second from Elevate. So as Tappy goes down back there, the setup with the Nox Gas Grenade and that drop that is necessary from Elevate actually sets them up to take on Verholst in confidence, knowing that they won't get tossed on from behind. And that's actually something that's even helpful more. Of course, that Black Hole comes in to save the day as well.
Really, really strong finish from Kinotrope there, as well as we get to take a look now at the series results. Elevate having such a strong performance in our first 3 matches so far, 54 points overall. They've got to feel confident now heading into the next set of 3.
Yeah, definitely feeling confident, and I've always looked up to them and known that they could do it, and they finally showed up, and I think they believe in themselves as well. In the beginning it was, oh my god, now they're locked in and they're like, yeah, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, and I mean, we're definitely seeing some Mazer magic right now. I mean, this is actually sometimes a blessing in disguise going down to elimination round. If you can get some really good vibes out of the games, especially and roll like this, it can almost be kind of seen as a buff. You have a lot of crazy good momentum going into winners brackets, or the finals. So they definitely have stamped their passports to finals. So good job from Elevate, and great job from Zach as well.
A lot of these teams, though, still need to find their way forward. We talk about some happy notes here for teams like TSM and Disguise to have been through the thick of it, but as we work our way down that leaderboard, Na'Vi, of course, Furia, Cloud9, and Alliance, a huge success story in what was our group stage that has now failed to show up here. Thankfully, as we go into Stormpoint, we've got some clarity for a lot of these rosters, and hopefully with teams still on that con later on with TSM, Red Rams, and plenty others, that might be something that elevates them, giving them the opportunity to potentially perform.
Now, I'm glad that you bring up that second page. Not only the second page, but the teams potentially around the bubble area, okay? We need to start looking at them as well. We saw how quickly those rankings can shift if you are in that 10th, 11th, 9th, 12th place, anywhere around there. Right now, the squad in 10th is Complexity, and they were a team that we definitely had some high expectations of, with some fancy headshots as well. Always some of the best personalities that we have in here I mean, that's almost identical to what Kimchi's got going on right now, Zephyr. That's good. That's good.
Thank you. I don't have quite the muscle mass, but I'm. I'll get there one day.
But talk to me about what Complexity need to do to ensure they stay in this top 10 right now, Hotsec.
I mean, a lot of it is just, I mean, I personally, not a big fan of the comp myself. I do think I think they're playing it a little bit on hard mode. I don't mind the Rampart as much. I'm a Rampart enjoyer. I kind of just find this meta is really hard to play without a Bloodhound. Because there's a lot of visual clutter in it, and it's hard to play with that, especially when they have 2 MK players as well. That is a factor that you have to take into account. But they are commonly finding themselves in these like God spots or really strong spots where they'll be in zone 4 or 5. They're just struggling to, when they slam those spots, they're struggling to stay alive, maybe over peaking a little bit, just taking a little bit extra damage. So as long as they can keep slamming those spots and surviving like they did a little bit in that last game, they should be okay.
Get the Sentinel in the hands of Monsoon and just start slaying out, okay? Now, we've got so much Apex Legends action in store. We've got a lot going on here at the arena as well, outside of all of our amazing gameplay that we've seen so far here today, specifically in our arena. Lots of things to check out. So let's go check in with Stella and see what she was able to see here today.
What's up, everyone? Stella Chung here. I am here in front of the fan art station. Look it! It's Octane. He's my main. Love him so much. But take a look at all of the different art that the community has put up here. It's amazing. You've got Catalyst, you have Caustic, and also, of course, the Lovers. Oh my God, I love them so much. Fusehound forever. Yeah, but you can come here and look at all of the different art that the community has made. Also, if you want to make some art of your own, you can actually make your own fan sign right over there, which a lot of people are doing. So you can have your favorite phrases, you can have your favorite player's name, whatever you want to do to encourage them. So it'll be a lot of fun. Come on down to the first floor of the Galen Center if you want to see all the art and make your own sign.
Thanks so much, Stella. Yeah, there's lots going on at the arena here. So in between matches, if you guys are getting an opportunity to walk around, hang out with your friends, check out everything we've got. There's really, really cool things. All that fan art by community members is absolutely gorgeous, Zephyr.
Shout out to Sofa. That guy put together an incredible collage of both the EMEA and North America region. And so seeing something like that come together, not as a request, but as of someone's own passion, is definitely one of the best moments that we get to participate in. And I'm glad that we're actually rewarding that here now at the LAN.
All right, well, you're talking about rewarding things. We often reward our players with our MVP nominations based off of their stellar performances. Well, we also want to reward a player for their positivity this year, okay? We've done it before. You watched Verhulst get that nomination for the Positive Player Award. We're going to be doing that again this time around. So if you guys want to tweet at us on social, let us know your thoughts. Votes will be opening up soon, and you'll be able to get involved in all of that. Hotsec?
There's some strong contenders for that
yeah,
vote.
I know.
But I mean, as much Evan is just, he is actually just kind of like, I think he's like just a quintessential competitive like player. Like he is, I mean, I've never seen that guy get mad. He doesn't have an angry bone in his body. He always has a cool head, super smart and just super respectful. I mean, well deserved last year for sure.
Well, if you guys are wondering when exactly you can give us your votes and participate in all of that, check this out.
So, Hero, what's the plan? Let's do some shopping.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You ready for another round?
Like you saw in there, nominations will be open July 5th through the 21st, so make sure you do that so you can check out who wins this time around. But we still have 3 more matches of Apex Legends in store, and when they're done, we will know which teams are participating in our match point finals, which means it's time to send it on over to Onset and Gaskin to close this out.
Let's do it, let's do it. Let's get into this, everybody. 3 games to go, and I mean, we've just had some crazy zones, to say the least. One thing we can guarantee is that we will not have a trial zone in these next 3 games, because we are changing map, everybody. That's right. World's Edge is done and dusted. We're going over to World's Edge.
Going from World's Edge to World's Edge, according to Mark. Storm Point is what you meant.
I meant Storm Point.
You see, now we could get a trial zone if that was going to happen. Yes,
nice.
We're going to have Storm Point on our screens, and it is going to be a chance for potential contests again. Of course, we saw TSM double contested when you go across World's Edge and Storm Point, but maybe they did enough in World's Edge with the amount of points they were able to accrue. Also, we might have a contest over towards the mill between KN and MIH.
I will say sometimes I feel so lucky to have you alongside me when we do these things because my excitement kind of gets me a little bit carried away at times. You bring me back down to earth. Well, I'm sure the excitement here in the Galen Center is going to only go one way. It's going to ramp up as we have 3 more matches to find out who are going to be the teams who will be moving through to that next round. I mean, I kind of feel for a lot of teams in this situation, right? Because you know that this is getting towards tournament life on the line. This is like the last opportunity you might have on that main stage. And the last thing you want to be doing is sitting in the crowd watching tomorrow. If you're a player, I will say, if you're an attendee and you're a spectator, best seats in the house.
Yeah, you just want to see it happen, unfold in front of your very eyes, but it's crunch time now for all of these squads as we are gearing up for match 4 here. And that lucky number we're going to search for how many points you need to get into the grand final from the elimination bracket. It has been 33 points from elimination round 1. It was 31 points from the winners bracket. So anywhere around that 30 points, and you've got to feel quite safe.
Contests and pretty much as pressured as they could be at this point for both teams on both sides of things. If you're deciding you want to contest at this point in this elimination bracket, knowing what's on the line, you quite simply have to win it. At this point in the tournament, Dan, you cannot afford a game where you put 0 points on the board. You do not want to be that team that loses off drop. Here we go then, everybody. Match number 4 is live.
Yeah, you don't want to fall behind here. You have to stay on top. You have to keep up with the leading pack. Now, of course, it is going to be Lightning Rod, TSM and Red Rams. We've seen it all tournament long, but they have been splitting this POI. They've not exactly been contesting each other directly, so I imagine we might see something more of the same. But of course, it will affect rotations. It will affect the loot pool. But we will have to see whether we get a direct contest over towards Mill.
One good thing for both these teams is that the flight path of the dropship is pretty much the first point of contact for Lightning Rod. So both are going to be hitting the floor before some of the other teams have even got the opportunity to jump out of the dropship. But here we are seeing a little bit of a contest going down. And there's going to be Furia who are under pressure here.
Yeah, Kinatrope have actually moved from Mill all the way up to Wall here to contest Furia. Furia, though, have got the first knock and maybe have got the upper hand, but it is now traded out.
Keon's trying to slide in here with the alternator. Can he get the finish though? No! And now he has to think about keeping himself alive. So Furia going back and forth with damage, but they can't quite get that knock.
You can see Vaxlon locked in, knows how important it is. The gets a little bit of assistance over towards Keon here. And it could just be getting a good angle. They've certainly spotted out the 2 Kinatrope players. They're going to be inside locked in.
One thing you can hear is those caustic barrels going down, which is going to make this push a little bit more difficult. It's going to slow it down step by step. Keon is now there himself. As we see the slide coming through, the knockdown shield is going to be vital here. Vaxlon's trying to deal with it. Madness is just watching from the side, and now it's all up to Keon. It's a 1v1 for the bread here over a wall. Keon's trying to hunt it down, trying to find it, and there it is! Furia will win the contest, and they get to play some more Apex.
Yeah, that's a massive win for Furia, a much-needed one as well. Kinatrope griefing them by dropping over towards Wall, and if Furia had gone down, it could have been a very rough last 3 games for them, because Kinatrope probably would have continued to do so just to try and eliminate a team that is a threat before that potential grand final, because Kinatrope are sitting on 45 points. They should be absolutely fine and comfortable going into that grand final without a doubt.
As we go back up towards Lightning Rod, where the early contest is still taking place, TSM have managed to get up to blue Evos. And if you want an indication of where that zone is going to be going, we're going down to the southwest. Map overhead is going to show you exactly where we will be finishing. Godrock always going to be a good place to play here, Dan. Getting that high early is going to be huge.
Elevate, they're leading the pack at the moment. They're top of the leaderboard, 54 points, and they've got into a position which looks like they're going to be more than happy to stay here for quite some time. But Crazy Raccoon, you can already see they are making their way through. They might be a problem for Elevate, especially if they catch one of the players off guard. Alliance have a nice easy rotation from Cenote Cave as well, and Heroes also making their way in. So everyone is making a merry journey, but we might just have a fight here. It depends whether Crazy Raccoon can get eyes on Elevate.
Well, they certainly have got eyes on them, but if they want to take the fight, it's another thing altogether, because that extreme height difference between
about Scarpa's away, and Crazy Raccoon will also happily take bridge, but Elevate might not want to let them do this.
Oh, and you're going to see Zap's going to swing on this one. Big damage coming in, but he gets counter-swung. And Young is going to take him down. Shuby's trying to move in here to even up those numbers, and around the knockdown shield, we've seen so many dances so far, and it's going to be CR who fall, and Elevate continue this run.
Yeah, that's really tough for Crazy Raccoon. You can see they wanted the rock, they wanted to play maybe bridge, but now Alliance, hearing all this commotion, say we can get involved as well. But Alliance just need to be careful, and that's why. Got the long-range weapons available for Elevate. They might be able to get the res, though.
And Shuby, I'm pretty sure, did not have a scope with Nut Scout still, and still managed to hit the shots onto effect to take him down. Tankers is going to be able to swing out here, and I think both teams will be able to reset from this position. Nobody really wants to throw their bodies at each other, knowing the damage that it had done on one side, and Alliance just happy to reset and get effect back on his feet.
And you can see Alliance down in 14th position, only 8 points so far, and at the moment, the story is going very similarly to previous events. Amazing throughout the group stages, but have been somewhat lackluster once we get into the bracket play. Now, they can change that story. They can change their fortunes, and it could all start here. Storm Point has by far been their better map. When you look at points scored, 100 of their points so far this tournament have been on Storm Point. So if they're going to do it anywhere, it would have to be here.
And to speak about points a little bit, where we find ourselves, right? You look at those leaderboards, and it almost feels like one win, and you've got 1 foot in that grand final of how close it is.
Yeah, as we mentioned, anything above 30 points, and you're going to start to think about that grand final. And with a victory, you're usually going to get, what, 8, 9 kills, sometimes alongside that. So that's a 20-point game, and it will send you hurtling up those leaderboards. Can certainly ease the nerves. Speaking of nerves, and speaking of teams that historically have not been able to perform and get to those grand finals, Na'Vi down to just 1 now, Matafi on his own.
Matafi trying to Scarper away, but Made in Heaven are chasing him down right now. It's Amir on Amir. Violence at this point. Made in Heaven know that he's 1 HP, and Arctic is chasing this down. They want the KP. They're going to get the KP, and Na'Vi again will fall early.
Only leaves them 2 games then to try and get the job done to send themselves up the leaderboard. Now for Made in Heaven, 14th position, and they'll be pretty happy. They were probably concerned they were going to get contested at Mill by Kinatrope Gaming. They see that they actually dove out to the wall, but Made in Heaven know that Kinatrope could return to Mill next game, so they need to take advantage of a free POI this game.
Well, now we have a look at WMNDY under pressure at the moment. Well, they are going to get the first knock here. Wonton Dumpling is the team on the other side of this, and this is going to have to back out as soon as they try to engage. Peacekeeper in the hands. Can he connect for big numbers, though? That's the question. The answer is yes. Great shots. And plenty of time here to pop that medkit, but this is a little bit of an awkward fight, just outside of zone, and not sure if they're going to be able to get every single player back on their feet, or if this is just a little bit of a swing into nothingness.
Great nade, just deleting Wonton Dumpling from the lobby. Gear Gaming also eliminated in that one. Gear Gaming had such an impressive performance earlier. Are they going to be able to find a similar form? But for Wonton, I mean, we saw an impressive regular season, actually an overly impressive regular season from what they did in APAC South, but have not found that form in this tournament whatsoever. WMNDY, though, they keep their hopes alive with a big fight. Even if it was down in the zone, even if it was a little bit risky, as soon as they had that player advantage, they had to capitalize on it. As now we get to check in again with that zone, and we are going to be moving even further west, a little bit further up towards Mill this time.
Cloud9 in a fantastic spot themselves, right deep into zone. Won't have to do too much. They're in those egg buildings at the moment. LG over at Sito Station, just taking their time, making sure that their loot path is allowing them to be fully kitted as they approach this zone. A really tough rotate for them up that hill towards the zone a little bit later. Have to wonder if they're planning maybe an evac tower or something similar to try and overtake some teams who are already inside of that zone. TSM taking a little bit of a different path here to Jurassic, and they look like they might be running into Furia.
Yeah, what year is it when TSM are running into Furia on their rotation? Takes me back to some historic times in the ALGS, but Furia have definitely been aware of it. They will expect it as well, and they have noticed TSM in their sight lines. I don't think there's going to be a real engagement in the map at the moment. There is enough of a distance where TSM can continue to rotate, but Furia seem to be trying to press onto them here, trying to find any sort of angle to engage in this fight.
You wonder if this is going to be a battle around the ring console you can see in front of you. If Keon wants to hit it, or if they're just going to let him pass and then make that play, and that's exactly what they are going to do. So Furia playing for ring console information, but also for the Evo that comes off the back of it. And When you get into lobbies like this now, where everybody is almost, that's the micro decision, right? We let TSM pass us. We allow them the rotation to try and play for the information. And now TSM, well, they're doing something pretty similar here. They've got the smokes down. They're going to be able to hit the survey beacon, and that information is going to be transferred across, and the Evo is going to go up as well.
A slightly different composition as well, of course, for TSM, seeing reps on the lifeline, so no ability to get the ring console with this composition, so they have to take advantage of those survey beacons, not only for Evo, but also for information. But an interesting tactic for TSM, and I'm sure we'll see how it goes in the end game, as lifeline has been very prominent throughout this tournament on several teams here today. Now, Disguise, they're in 5th place, 24 points in the Sentinel, hit it pretty hard.
Fascinating to see the composition change from TSM, something we really don't usually see from them, but obviously a conversation has been had. And the effectiveness of said change will have to be waited to see the results of. Designful narrowly missing this time with the Sentinel himself. 95 this time is going to hit certainly harder. And every single shot that's hitting is getting that Evo only going one way. Still a long way off, but it's getting closer and closer.
At least it's extra damage, and it threatens the players up, which actually other teams can also see those players and maybe even capitalize on the damage themselves. Now you can have a few teams that are moving in. Again, it's going to be Furia who have their sights on something, but it's LG above them right now. For LG, they've been in a few scraps so far in this series. A lot of it was up to the northwest side of the map of World's Edge, if I'm honest. I'm sure they'll be pretty happy to move over to Storm Point, as will a lot of the other squads after those 3 games.
Well, Legends Gaming, who did manage to clutch up on one of those games you saw a little bit earlier. Man on your screen, Koifel, with that important 1v1 win for them. So in 3rd place overall at the moment with 38 points. And probably feeling pretty comfortable about things. Looking elsewhere, you can see that SSG are just ahead of them at the moment, or should I say almost parallel to them, as they move through the Cenote Cave. Elsewhere, Fury have hit that evac tower, now they're flying towards the zone.
Yeah, they're going to be flying, and you can see the kill feed as well. A couple of knocks against Red Rams on their rotation through. Fury have found somewhere to call home, but it isn't exactly a safe spot right now, as Red Rams do get eliminated. The kill feed down to 14 teams. Vaxlon just needs to try and dip, dodge, and dive. It will do so, but this isn't comfortable at all.
This really isn't comfortable. It's almost uncomfortable to watch. But Vaxlon does get a corner to pop that med kit and pop that battery. The Valk missiles are going to come in, but Missile Swarm is only going to chip away at damage.
A brief look at the map, just as these teams are making their way from the more further out areas. SSG just have 1 player alive, by the way. So that's going to be difficult for them. Disguised are also making a big rotation from the northern side to try and maybe contest the team that is up towards Mill. There are a lot of teams who have found a home in this circle, and then just a few more who are going to have to join them. And then that's when the party will start. That's when the action will unfold.
It's fascinating to see as we look at this overhead, right? Look at what a great position Alliance have. They're back to zone. They're able to only force, what's in front of them. They don't have to worry about anyone zone wrapping on them. But the position that they're in the leaderboards just puts so much pressure on them. They all know more than anyone that the position they're in is a potential game-winning one. And we mentioned 1 game here, 1 win here. You are so close to the grand finals. TSM now trying to take advantage of a team coming out of the skies and catching them as they drop.
Yeah, a couple of reds for TSM, and you say 1 win could send you to the grand finals. 1 big game here, maybe even an average game for TSM could send them into the grand finals. They're already on 28 points. Avoiding the Rolling Thunder at the moment, it's WMNDY who are on the other side of this. TSM, they've got a good angle. They're actually in a really good position because they can kind of hold them out here. They can gatekeep a little bit.
Verhel's also got the Turbo Havoc, so if anyone tries to jump on him, he's going to have no wind-up whatsoever when it comes to one of the best guns in the game for one of the best players in the game, and that short-range engagement. LG now making their play, and what a play this could be for them. Where's the overall here, Dan? They are right on the precipice.
Yeah, well, where do they go? LG are really going to struggle here, as are Legends Gaming at the moment. Just strafing Flame, the last remaining player. You can see it's Alliance who are doing so much damage from that bridge we saw Alliance take so early on in this game, and now strafing Flame might just have to accept the inevitable, but he will do everything he can to try and survive here.
I mean, the shield battery gets popped with just 1 HP left. But he's got to be careful. You can see he's healing in the smokes at the moment. That's going to be the perk, but not enough. Legends Gaming, they're eliminated. Now we have 13 squads remaining. Alliance doing so much damage there.
That looked like a very slippy wall. Now Elevate are down to just 2. And remember, it's Alliance on the other side. And Alliance have the upper hand in this fight. Maybe they'll push this one.
Heroes eliminated in the meantime. WMNDY eliminated too. We are almost down to single-figure teams that are left. And no surprise to see that with how open this zone is and what a big power position this God Rock can be.
You can see as it stands in the overall standings right now. So the cutoff is 14 points in the moment to get to the grand final, but of course 2 matches still to play. We're expecting that to raise to around 30 odd. Now, Omit, now to take one of the more powerful positions, they can certainly pick up some good damage from here and potential KP as well. Because even though there's 11 squads, which doesn't seem like that much, look at how many of them still have to move into that next zone.
And it's Cloud9 who have God Spot. They have that building, they have that egg, and they'll know it. But this is their chance to put those guaranteed points on the board here. Omit can play party pooper to so many teams trying to rotate in here. Might see a spot to play, might have a first jump on a team that they're trying to move up to, but a couple of shots from 30-30s from height can swing a fight in the favor of someone who doesn't have that initial advantage. Alliance are making a play here. They're trying to wrap onto C9.
Yeah, Alliance could actually take this, or they could just hold and be careful. It's whether they want to try and take the height away. This could be a big play. This could be the biggest play that Alliance have done so far in this series. Remember, they're in 12th at the moment. They need some sort of big game if they really want to find themselves in the grand finals of this tournament.
TSM now in a little fight. Imperial Howard's going to have to use a battery here to stay alive. Does have the gold RE45 with a Digi, but is he going to get to fire it? Is he going to get to use it? The battery gets popped at just the right time. TSM trying to force their way into zone, and look at this spray coming from Verhos. Great shots coming in from him. TSM are making their play. Let's jump in to elicit it.
I'm smoking us. I'm dead. No, come on, come on. I can't get you. Can't go all the way, Jordan. You can't go all the way. I'm safe on me. Trying to get to you. I'm gonna die and crawl in. Can you punch me in or no? No. Oh, sure? So. Yeah, you're dead. You're dead now. You gotta play your life. I just can't do anything. Oh, I could try. I mean, you gotta slow down, Evan. Like you can't get down.
TSM will fall on their rotate down, and now EA as a 2 still trying to hold this bridge position.
Yeah, Elevate as a 2 are doing so impressively at just making themselves big, making themselves feel like a 3 with the damage output we're currently seeing, and they are just keeping teams away. They're holding them at arm's length, and it's very impressive.
LG eliminated 2. Puts a bit more pressure on their shoulders moving forward as well. What an opportunity this is for DSG, though, disguised up on the high ground. Plenty of range in the weaponry as well. Timmy's taking a little bit of damage himself. Gonna have to just back down for a second here and pop that bat. There's 7 squads remaining. And it's still C9 who are in the best position here on the map, but Made in Heaven are pushing them.
Yeah, Made in Heaven have found a spot to reside next to Cloud9, but I wonder how friendly they're going to be.
This portal could be massive from design.
Big chance for this portal to maybe bring them into the action as Omen will take down Elevate. Finally, Elevate fall, but at what cost? Blast the last remaining player, but are they going to get back up to a 2? It looks like the res will happen. This is what I was talking about. Made in Heaven and Cloud9 going tooth and nail against one another, and Disguise now involved.
Whereas the enemy gets the knock on the outside, and now DSG can just hold because everybody else has to Scarpa, has to leave to try and stay alive. It's a massive play from the Wraith. The Zone has got them into such a good position, and now they're inside of this building. 6 squads remaining, affecting the kill feed on the Zoneful though, and now DSG are under pressure.
Absolute carnage right now for Timmy. He's just trying to stay alive. Disguise don't really know where to go. Effect has just got a double with an arc grenade, and now we're going to see whether the Arcstar can do enough damage to get them involved in the fight as well.
Well, Complexity have just completely cleared this side of Zone, and this is their chance. This is their opportunity, not only for KP, but for points on the board as well.
Hodzik was saying this composition, is it good enough? Is it going to be the composition that maybe makes them play on hard mode? Well, this is the opportunity to show what Sheila can do in a final circle like this. Omit eliminated. 5 squads now remain.
Alliance still up on the high ground though, overlooking everything. And it's the perfect top-down view of what's about to take place. You have Alliance on one side of the zone, you have Complexity on the other. Made in Heaven, Disguise, and Cloud9, the remnants of some, in and around that egg building. Who's going to make the first step forward, though? You can see Effect, he wants some kills here.
Yeah, Lions are really trying to just initiate the fight with inside this egg, try and force those three teams to get involved with one another so they can reside next to one another as well. Complexity and Alliance are the two teams who have to move first from north and south. But I wonder if anyone is mad enough, crazy enough within that egg to start fighting each other.
Designful just charge up the Sentinel, and let me tell you, one shot to the head, regardless of your armor, is going to change the trajectory of a fight. C9 still inside of this building. They have been here for pretty much the entire game. Made in Heaven, they're taking the height, and they've taken the top floor of the egg as well. And now they're going to be able to rain down some fire, and it's Complexity who made that move in. Well, the one thing the Sheila Walls can't help you with is shots coming down from above.
Three of these teams are in the bottom 10 at the moment. This is massive for all involved. Disguise, though, they're getting those points, just chunking them up slowly but surely, but it's Made in Heaven at the moment, dreaming of all the kills. They're just walking in front of them.
Complexity gone, eliminated. They will not get any more points in this game as we have 4 squads now remaining, and everyone outside of Alliance is within spitting distance of each other. Alliance walking their way up. No Nox gas available here for Unlucky as well, so they're going to have to bide their time here. No ult excels either. Hackis does have Beast of the Hunt though, so if it does get a little bit gassy and it does get smoky, he's going to be able to give them those scans to give them the info.
Yeah, that's important just to have extra vision here because someone might have a Nox grenade as well inside. No core stick for Made in Heaven though, but the Horizon could make a bit of a difference here, just to be able to elevate yourself out of everything, get a top-down view, and then join the fight late. We'll have to see what happens, as now you can see the portal also being laid down by Disguise. Plenty of different legends that can really affect this final circle.
And Disguise who are just a 2, remember. The portal got them into the spot they find themselves in. Is it going to be able to get them out into the next one? Made in Heaven, tiptoeing forward, trying to wait for damage to be done, and now they have to make that move as Taxington, he goes up into the sky where the oxygen is thin to try and make the play to win this game. The ult goes down, the Black Hole, can they make a play off the back of this?
Black Hole onto Alliance, and now you're going to get in, now you're going to get the damage. Alliance eliminated, 3 squads now remain, but Made in Heaven, they've taken so much hits here.
Made in Heaven are eliminated, they will be going down, and maybe it's going to be Disguised. Designful can't do it, and C9. A massive win for C9. The team who were dead center zone for so long convert that position into a win.
And you said it, a victory here in the elimination round 2 could be enough to send you into that grand final. It is 1 foot in the door as Cloud9 send themselves up into 7th position in the overall standings. They had that building, they had that space for so long that they were able to kind of set up and be that team that was such a nuisance to any of the other squads that were arriving a little bit later. And what an effort from every other squad involved there for a very exciting endgame that was heavily influenced by all sorts of legends.
Yeah, it's such a fun endgame to watch. Everyone trying to navigate the traffic, but dude, my heart is beating watching that endgame. That was absolutely ridiculous. You can only imagine what it feels like for all of the C9 players right now. And I think one thing that the man on the left of your screen, Naughty, is probably thinking is, thank God there wasn't another lifeline to ruin it for us.
And that puts 5 teams on 33 points plus. Elevate, Kinatrope, Legends, Disguised, and TSM. Now, I'm not saying that's a guaranteed number for teams that are going to get into the grand final, but it is certainly more of a safe space to be right now, especially with 2 matches to go. And teams like Cloud9, they put themselves just 1 step closer. But it does get a little bit more concerning for all those teams who are outside of the top 10.
Certainly does indeed. Those teams outside the top 10 now are thinking we have 2 more games. Just match point finals tomorrow. And that pressure, it's not something you can recreate at home. It's not something you can recreate in the Pro League, regional finals, whatever it might be. That pressure on the main stage you cannot recreate unless you are sat there right now.
Well, there's the confirmed results then. Cloud9, 18 points on the board. So it's not a huge win, right? Only 6 kills alongside him, but still one that could heavily contribute to their chances of getting into that grand final. Disguise putting 13 points on the board as well. I think that's going to be a game we look back on for their chances of getting to grand final. Made in Heaven with 13, Alliance with 11 much needed points to put them in the conversation of top 10 as well.
The crazy thing is though, you look at that, right, and nobody has gone and put the huge game on the board, which kind of just puts the pressure on everyone still. in this next game because everyone is still going to be so close. We'll take a look at the second page here just to see the teams who didn't get as many points on the board. One thing to point out here is the 7 points in total from WMNDY. 6 kills contributing to them.
A big surprise for me, Red Rams not being able to put much points on the board. Stormpoint has been their home all tournament long, but they've not really been able to get going, and part of that because they're splitting a POI with TSM. It's never going to be fun. But yeah, the 7 points you speak of for WM and DY, just showing they are still a big threat in this lobby with how they're fighting.
Well, that's the match 4 results. We need to look at the overalls, though, the series scores, because this is what it's all about. I mean, if you wanted to get any closer, you're crazy. Made in Heaven, they hold down the last qualification place on 18 points. Complexity have 18 points as well at 11th.
And Alliance 17, WMNDY 17, Geared Gaming 14. Like, it's so close. As we mentioned, even if Red Rams or Heroes were to get a victory in the next game, they propel themselves up to those top 10 spots, or certainly nearby that 10th spot. And it just becomes so tight. It becomes so terrifying as a player, as a team, as an IGL in particular. One bad call, and that could be you out of the tournament.
One bad call, a couple of missed shots, one misplaced, or whatever it might be. This is the situation where if you don't make it, you are looking back on those moments of maybes that, you know, we didn't quite do what we needed to do. The call wasn't quite right, but if you do make it, you just look ahead to tomorrow and you completely forget about the bad and you're looking forward to doing some more good. But I mean, we're sweating, we're working our way through this at the moment. I know that Peeps is in the crowd at the moment too. He's catching up with some people who are probably feeling the emotions just as much as we are.
On set, thank you so much. Apex, what up? I love that, I love that. So we are here, what is your name and where are you from?
I'm Kimberly, I'm from Michigan.
And who are you a fan of?
Well, Furia.
All right, where the Furia fans at? Y'all gotta make some more noise if you want these boys to qual, man. They need your energy. So I got a question, Kimberly. If you have a moment right now to talk to the fellas, they're on the cusp of qualifying for finals. What do you want to say to them?
We got them right where we want them, boys. You just got to keep pushing. We're going to get there, and it's going to be dank.
You heard it here. Crowd, make some noise. Stella, take it away.
Hey, listen, Peep, I love you, man, but I think I got you beat on Superfans. Look at my section. Can we get some cheering here? Yeah, see? Yeah, we're in the better section. And let me raise you one more bar. We've got some Made in Heaven superfans here. So who are you, and why are you superfans of Made in Heaven?
So I'm Tarvo, and I'm from Finland, and we are cheering for the Made in Heaven because Synetics is my older son, and here's my younger son, and here's
Amazing. Okay, so I have to ask, since he's your son, everything's on the line, would you give up your favorite food to make sure he wins?
well, that might be the pizza.
Yeah, and you're the youngest son right here. Are you debating on going into Apex Esports 2 and maybe playing against your big brother?
Yes.
Yes, I absolutely love it. Yes, and Mom, how did you feel when your son was like, hey, I want to get into Apex Esports?
Well, I can say that first of all, it was a bit difficult to see all the esports and how much it takes time. But when we can see that the Synetic is so good at it, then, well, here we are.
Yeah, all right. So we just saw match 4, 10th place. Can they do it, Dad?
Definitely.
Let's go. All right, yeah. Let's keep this energy going. All right, Onset and Gaskin, take it away.
Absolutely loving the energy here in LA. I've got to say, Dan, you can feel it though, can't you? You can feel the emotion. You've got the parents there, the proud parents who want to see their son do well. You've got the fans who are sat there just hoping they can come back tomorrow to support their teams. And I think that everyone who is in this building right now is thinking the same thing. Like, if my team's not already in the final, please, please, I'll give up anything, even my favorite food, just to see them play tomorrow.
Even the pizza. Honestly, it gets me every time. Not the pizza. When the parents get involved and it's just the siblings, almost makes me want to just cry. It's just amazing. Apex community, you always get to me.
Well, we've got to turn our attention back to business now, though, because we've got 2 more games, and it's crazy. 2 more games to survive, essentially, at this point. By the way, speaking of things that, you know, stressful, you know, one thing that doesn't stress me out is how good you look right now, because that hoodie is clean. You know, the relaxing colors. What do you got?
Honestly, they seem to get better and better every single event. If you want one of these fantastic Nessie hoodies or one of the exclusive shirts of Wraith on them as well from the, of course, Split 1 playoffs, you can get them online at the moment. You can see right down here, playapexshop.com. And there is a limited sale at the moment this weekend where you can pre-order these as well. So make sure you do that because, honestly, comfiest one yet. I always have to try them. I always test them to make sure they're comfy, and I can secure it is comfortable.
I would agree with that because, you know, I was sat in the hotel room. I had to watch yesterday because I'm feeling 100%. But I was sat in that hoodie, and let me tell you, I made the day a lot better.
Not this hoodie, because it would have been a lot bigger because I had to size down.
That would have been weird if I brought you a hoodie I was ill in all day to
that
wear.
That would be very
Let's move on. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the leaderboards. Let's talk about the teams who are going to be panicking a little bit here. I mean, who are you looking at right now and thinking, oh, this is really getting dicey?
I think that, well, anyone in the bottom 5, you've got Crazy Raccoon, you've got Na'Vi, Heroes, Red Rams, and Wonton Dumpling are going to be the teams who are a little bit nervous going into match 5 and 6. And of course, those nerves will elevate when we get into match number 6, the final one. But a team that's not nervous is Elevate, right? First place, 61 points. They're going to be in that grand final. And I think, genuinely, they are going to be a real threat in that grand final. Of course, no sort of points advantage if you are approaching from the elimination round 2. But still, you're going to be in form. You're going to have a lot of momentum on your side.
Looking at some of the other big names that are just outside of qualification spots right now. We mentioned complexity. They are tied, essentially, on points for that final qualification spot. Just behind them, you have Alliance, who just dominated the group stages. But is it going to be the same story, Dan? Domination in the groups, slowing up in the bracket, and this would be disappointing for them to not make finals.
Yeah, I don't think that Alliance will be like really worried going into match 5 because they are close enough. They're within touching distance of the top 10, but a bad game here. And then that's when I think the memories will start to come into the back of their head once more of what they've previously been unable to achieve in other tournaments. The same can be said for the likes of Na'Vi. They've been struggling a little bit, but still within a shot as long as they can pick up some form here as we're into match number 5.
Match number 5 is live, everybody. 2 more games. That's all we have left to bring you today. 2 more games to write yourselves into the history books to get to that match point final tomorrow. Who's going to be thriving? Who's going to be surviving? And who's going to be watching from the stands?
Well, Kinatrope dropping onto Furia yet again here, and that will, of course, leave things open up towards the mill for Made in Heaven, so that is good news for the Made in Heaven super fans.
Well, there seems to be, what should we say, a little bit of a split of the contest here. Elsewhere, you can see Red Rams and TSM still looking at each other, but waving kindly, lovingly. Kinatrope and Mia K trying to fight at the moment. Charged up Sentinel going to be good, but no targets to try and pick out at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment, no fight happening to talk about here. Nothing happening on the side of Lightning Rod either. TSM and Red Rams still just happily splitting that POI. As everyone in venue, very happy as they can see what's happening on the screen again. We get to see what's on the map though, and we're heading south, down between Barometer and Pylon, and you can see where Crazy Raccoon currently reside as well. A lot of teams through Jurassic Park, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah, this is an interesting one, right? It's a similar zone to what we saw yesterday, where a lot of teams banked on Barometer buildings, maybe, you know, the Bamboo Island being the finish, and then it pulled up a little bit more north towards Jurassic. We'll have to see if third beacon info is going to be vital for teams to make their decision and how they descend and how they approach this zone for now. But looking at the contests at the moment, it looks like everybody is still alive. There's been nobody who's been knocked. Everyone has either split loot, and I've got to say, no surprise whatsoever. Just remember, this is the last 2 opportunities you have to put points on the board. If you are outside of that top 10 and you are contesting, you cannot afford to hard contest at this point.
You don't want to have to go into Sunday watching from the stands. You want to be able to be on that stage and live your dream that so many of these guys and girls have just been wanting to do forever, really. You can see what it means to some of the players when they get that victory. Esports, it just hits different. Now, Alliance, can they make something of this, or are they going to do it again? Now, elsewhere, by the way, Furia have just taken a fight with DSG, you can see in the kill feed.
I think Furia might have just caught one of them off guard, because Furia worked their way through the wall building, and down towards where DSG was still looting, and they were very, very split, to say the least. And I think Fury just saw the opportunity, and they were like, oh, okay, cool, I'm just going to take that kill. Alliance, though, is going to be our focus for now, and understandably why. Because this is a team who, like we said before, dominated the group stage, set records while we've been here in LA, but they're so close. But they're on the wrong side of being close at the moment. They are so close to not qualifying that it will be such a disappointment.
It will hurt more if they're that close as well, where it's only one or 2 points. We've seen it already throughout today, whether it's not getting into elimination round 2 or whether it's not getting into the grand final in the previous rounds, as now Furia are moving on in. They say we've already found one of DSG, maybe we can find the rest. Let's jump into a listening and see how Furia do it.
I have to sell. I can slide through right now. They're on height. Scanning.
I'm looking for good verse.
I have to hit a bat, I'm gonna pop off.
Yeah, heard. I hit one with the nade.
I'm scanning, I'm putting it. Yeah, I'm queuing
Yeah,
here.
take it up. Go up, got the queue, Max. They dropped.
I got front.
Caustic one.
I got shot from wide. I got shot from wide. Far by.
We're good.
I'm 1 HP, I'm not helping you guys. I'm healing.
He's low. He's one. No, actually one. Pushing.
That's all you guys. I see no red around us.
He's popping in bat.
Well, the result of this is going to be that DSG will fall and Furia will pick up the final kills. And how important is that for them, Dan? Not only did they get the full squad right there, nobody went down, they have the loot, all that good stuff, but it's guaranteed points for them. But here come Geared Gaming.
Yeah, sadly the fight went on a little bit too long, and that is just always going to invite the third party. And with a ring console here, it's always inviting.
Keon's on his own at the moment. You can see that he knows, he's just running. He's just trying to get away.
Yeah, Geared Gaming, they're on the hunt. I think they recognize that, and now you've got to try and get away, but also stall a little bit so that your teammates can catch up and try and find an angle so you can take this fight together.
And this is 2 teams that are outside of that top 10 as well, so this becomes even more important, this fight. Keon is doing an amazing job so far to get away, to try and resort to a position where his teammates can give him some cover. The Horizon Q, the grab lift, is going to be good enough to get him into a position at least, which is away from Geared Gaming, but now the zone becomes a slight issue for both teams.
Keon was literally kiting the entirety of Geared Gaming there, and now they have to, sadly, push out of a POI where Furia are going to be surrounding them. So Furia were on the back foot, but now they technically could have the upper hand. But you've always got to be careful of other teams that could be in the area, and actually there is another one. LG aren't so far away, so if there is gunfire here, if a fight breaks out, LG will certainly have a sniff.
And this is one of those fights, one of those situations right now as our incredible observer team in the back show us exactly where LG are going. Wonton Dumpling eliminated, by the way, in the meantime. But however this fight ends up going, whoever comes out healthiest, still alive with some KP, this could have a big impact on those final standings.
Well, Furia have been able to bypass LG. Geared Gaming also have gone the other way, so we're not going to get any action up towards Northpad. And for good reason, you were mentioning it, you've got 14th place and 15th place in Furia and Geared Gaming. They're not going to want to take too many risks. Now we check in with SSG, they've lost 1, but they do take down WMNDY. So SSG, 7th place in the moment, 25 points. Again, poising themselves very well for the grand final. As we get to check in again once more with the map, you can see TSM on the right-hand side of your screen are going to be moving in via Launchpad. But it is going to be a tough rotation through Sito Station and potentially through Jurassic Park here. Now, yes, that's what I was expecting, the continuation of the pull south. So Jurassic Park becomes a choke point where a lot of teams can kind of use those fences to hold people up and get some KP.
It'll be interesting to see if it's going to pull south here, across the open water towards those eggs, or if it is going to be Bamboo Island, or maybe even a little bit further into Barometer, but not a lot of space to play late on this zone, which is something a few teams might be able to stack up in some of the buildings of Barometer, but when it gets late, you're going to see the lobby get cut in half so quickly because of the vast open water that these teams are going to have to try and navigate. It's a tough zone to play, this one.
All the teams, though, are playing zone. It happens when you get to the latter stages of tournaments. You get people that are a little bit more anxious in these final games, so they just want to try and get to the zone as quick as possible. That means we're going to be seeing a lot more of this, blue armors. But on the outside and the outskirts, you get fights like this, purple armors, red armors, TSM versus SSG.
Bang ult's going to go down. That's going to be from the side of SSG as well. And now Phony looking to make his move, and it looks like they've isolated one player here. How gets absolutely decimated. He is so far away from the rest of his team. And SSG just pounced on that opportunity.
Pounced on them, and now the rest of TSM just have to flee here. And I think they've actually sent it two ways. They've just hedged their bets on two different directions and said, one of us surely will survive here to maybe get some placements.
Reps have screamed at Verhulst, go on without me. Leave me behind. Survive and get us back in the game another time. Reps will go down. That's 2 KP for SSG, by the way.
Somehow made Reps sound Scottish then. I don't know how
It was not Scottish.
It was close to. It was like a Northern Englishman, but
that was not
TSM
sorry.
down to 1, and now are going to be on the far east. Furia might catch wind of it. They certainly would have heard the commotion, and now LG, 8th place, 23 points. They're going to make their move from Cito. This was the area I was worried about, going from Cito up towards Jurassic, and it's Made in Heaven who are on the gate, and they are going to be very excited if LG start to approach up this hill.
I wish you hadn't said that, because all I can hear myself is in a Scottish accent now. It's really weird what's going on in my brain. But LG, they've got to use their brains right now as they approach Jurassic. This is going to be a tough rotate. Anytime you're trying to rotate in and around Jurassic, you just know there's so few entry and exit points unless you have that evac tower. And those two doors are usually going to be watched by the teams that are inside. So a very tough decision for them to make. But they've got one of the best brains in the game to try and navigate that traffic. Cloud9, though, again, in a great position for the end game. Not for the first time. Last game, we saw them doing something extremely similar, and they managed to convert.
You can see, even with that victory, right? 1 foot in the door because you're in the top 10, but 24 points may not have you safe. If we're thinking it's around 30 points, they still need to do something in these last 2 games just to get closer towards that total. But they're in a good position at the moment that should at least get them minimum top 10, unless another team decides they want to try and take that position off them, which has happened in this lobby. We've seen it a few times where a team will just dive on another squad, maybe as a last resort, maybe as a planned attack.
Got to show some love to the 3 gentlemen on your screen right now, by the way. Omit have been absolutely superb so far. I think a lot of people may have not given them a chance of making finals, with all due respect, coming into this tournament. Well, they're in 6th place at the moment, with 1 game left after this one, and what an achievement that would be for the EMEA powerhouse.
Will they be able to take this fight, though? It's down on armor against Furia, 2 purples to work with, grenades starting to go out. If any of these nades hit, that could be all you need, but the Rolling Thunder will force Furia away here. You can see, oh wow, beautiful synergy. Just sending down the grab lift to make sure Madness could get out of dodge.
Still have this high ground as well, and now Madness can overlook Vaxlon. Omit have got some decisions to make here. Do they want to try and force their way through? Or do they just want to find a place to play? You can see that both teams will be safe for now. And I think this is just an agreement that everybody can enjoy the rest of their game. TSM, though, back up to 3.
Somehow, some way, TSM have done it, and actually, we know they made that change to the lifeline, and it has very much favored them in this instance. Of course, having a support character when you're in a contest is going to be important. Now, Kinatrope are down to just 2, and it could get even worse, but good damage coming out. The Gold Devo doing its job right now.
Mischievous and devious. We all know what the Devo can do in this situation, but why this fight is going down? Both TSM and Furia are trying to third party at the same time. Red Rams will be eliminated. Now this could get messy. This could get so messy for Furia. They're trying to third, and if TSM take them down, this could be a bad decision.
Could be, but they weren't to know that TSM were going to be there as well, because of course TSM late on the rotation because of the reses. Now Keon takes down Reps. Kinatrope will get eliminated. Howl also goes down. Furia back on top here.
This could be massive for Furia if they can finish off this fight and get these KP. Then it will put them in a great spot. The PK not connecting though. Verhulst versus Vaxlon. A massive, massive moment potentially for Furia in this tournament. Vaxlon's looking for it, he gets the spray, it's 96, it's not enough! As SSG now come in.
A slither of health for Verhulst, but sadly he's going to be hunted down and quickly eliminated, and TSM go down. SSG arrive at the party at the perfect time. And yes, okay, there's a Rolling Thunder here, but no other teams in the area, so SSG can breathe. They did their job. That was carnage up towards Jurassic Park.
That building will be remembered for quite some time by everybody who was involved in that fight. Made in Heaven, this is the team who hold down the final qualification spot. If it was to end right now, they would be in the grand final tomorrow, but they know there's plenty more Apex to be played. Not just this game, but the one after as well.
There is more points required. They know that 21 points would not be enough to get them done. They have to try and push for more, and they are doing so as they make their way into center zone.
Well, the good thing for them here is they know there's only 13 teams alive, so there's going to be space to slam into zone, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Omit have been eliminated in the meantime. 12 squads now remaining, and you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, as it stands, they would be your 10 teams who go to final.
Haven't had a chance to talk about heroes much in this game. By the way, Geared Gaming just got eliminated, so 11 squads remain. They're in a good position at the moment. Of course, the circle is drifting away from them, but having this vantage point, a good chance to do damage.